Dear students, I welcome you all to day 5 of your online English class. I'm Miss Lisa and I hope you all are doing well and utilizing this time to practice your lessons. In the last video, we learned about pronouns. In this video, we will continue with grammar and the topic for today's class is countable and uncountable nouns. I believe that you all remember what is a noun and different kinds of noun. Let's quickly revise it. Noun is a name of a person, place, animal, thing or an idea. Different kinds of noun include common noun, proper noun, abstract noun, concrete noun and collective noun. Noun can also be classified as countable and uncountable nouns. Let's look at the first one, that is countable nouns. Countable nouns are also called count nouns. Countable nouns are things we can count. They can be singular or plural. Chair, chairs, cup, cups. The first point is that countable nouns have one more name. It is also called count nouns. Why are they called as count nouns? So countable nouns simply means things that we can count. You all know what is the meaning of count, right? So whatever things we can count are classified as countable nouns. So noun is the name of a person, place, animal, thing or an idea. So if we can count those nouns, they are called countable nouns. Hence, countable nouns are also called count nouns. Look at the third point. They can be singular or plural. For example, can we count a chair? Yes, we can count chair. So if we have one chair, we'll say only chair, right? But if we have more than one chair, if we have two, then we would say two chairs. So a countable noun can be singular, chair is singular, okay? It can be plural, that is chairs. So when we write plural, we add s to it, right? So chair, chairs. If we have only one cup, then it is a cup, and if we have more than one cup, then we would say two cups, three cups, four cups and so on. So you have to remember that countable nouns can be both singular or plural. But there are some exceptions to it. For example, fish. Fish is a countable noun. We can count fish, right? We can count how many fish are there in an aquarium, right? So they can be 1, 2, 3 or lot more. But we never add s or es to fish. So we always say there are two fish in the aquarium. So there are some exceptions like this where we don't add s. So you have to remember that. Let's look at the other examples of countable nouns. Pen, dog, chair. So in the first picture, how many pens are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 pens in the first picture. So if I have only one pen, I would say I have a pen. So I can count the pen. I have only one pen. I have 3 pens. So I can count 1, 2, 3. So that becomes a countable noun. Dog. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 dogs in the picture. I have 4 dogs. Chair. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 chairs in the hall. Right, so all these are countable nouns. Let's move on to the next type of noun, that is uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are also called non-count nouns. Uncountable nouns are the things we cannot count. They are always singular and do not have a plural form. Right, so in simple terms, uncountable nouns are things which we cannot count. Countable nouns, we could count the things there, right? We counted 1 chair, 2 chair, etc. But in uncountable nouns, we cannot count the things. That is why they are called non-count nouns. They are always singular and do not have a plural form. So in countable noun, we learn that they can be both singular and plural. But uncountable nouns, they do not have a plural form. Let's look at the examples to make the concept clear. Look at the first example, sugar. Can you count sugar? No, we cannot count sugar. If we want some sugar, we would never say that I want sugars. So we never add S to the word sugar. So an uncountable noun, it does not have a plural form. It is always singular, that is sugar. And we cannot count sugar. That is the reason why sugar is an uncountable noun. Let's look at this third example, that is milk. Can you count milk? No, we cannot count milk. We cannot say there are 2 milk, there are 3 milk, right? We cannot count milk. Instead, we can say, I want a glass of milk, or I drank 3 cups of milk. You won't say I drank 3 milks, right? So milk is an uncountable noun because it cannot be counted. Look at the second example, money. What do you think? Money is a countable noun or an uncountable noun? You would definitely have this confusion. You would say that, ma'am, we can count money. But you have to remember, lot of uncountable nouns are categories. For example, money is a category. Under money, you have rupees, coins, bills, etc. So you can count the coins. I have 10 coins with me. I have 2 10 rupees note in my purse. But we cannot say, I have monies or I have money. But we instead say, I have a lot of money. Or you can say, I have some money. So money is also uncountable. Let's discuss one question to understand countable and uncountable nouns better. Can you tell me whether English is a countable or uncountable noun? Yes, English is an uncountable noun. We cannot count English. We cannot say, I like to English. No, we would say, I like English. What about students? Student is a countable noun because we can count the number of students. For example, I have 32 students in my class. What about bottle? Bottle is also a countable noun. We can count the number of bottles. Water. Water is an uncountable noun. We cannot count water. We cannot say, I have 2 water, I have 3 water. Instead, we can say, I had a bottle of water, or I had a glass of water. We cannot count water, so water is an uncountable noun. Laptop. Laptop is a countable noun. My mother has 3 laptops. book. Again, it is a countable noun. We can count the number of books. What about happiness? Can you count happiness? Can you say, this man looks very happy? He has one happiness, or he has two happiness. No, we cannot say that because happiness is uncountable. We cannot count happiness. We must be careful with the words that we use with countable and uncountable nouns. Some words can be used with countable nouns and some others with uncountable nouns. And there are few words which we can use with both countable and uncountable nouns. Let's look at this table to understand it better. Look at the first one, a and the. So we can use these words before a countable noun. For example, a bag. I have a bag. An hour. So if a noun starts with a vowel sound, we use an. A, E, I, O, U are vowel sounds, right? So if I say apple, so the word starts with A. So I will write an apple. Or egg, the word starts with E, which is a vowel, right? So I'll write an egg. Here in our example, we have R, right? Even though the word starts with the letter H, the H is silent there. So we would write an R. The table. So here we use the word the because it is referring to a specific or a particular table. The paper is kept on the table. So I'm referring to the paper which is kept on a specific or a particular table, right? So there we use the word the before the countable noun. Then we have some, many, any, few, a lot of, how many, enough, a large number of, plenty of, etc. For example, some flowers. Many friends. I have many friends. Any container. Put the sugar in any container, right? Few questions. I have few questions to ask. A lot of biscuits. Or lots of cakes. How many mangoes? How is a question word, right? So how many mangoes? No babies. Enough chairs. I have plenty of chocolates. Right? So all these words can be used before a countable noun. So you have to remember that these words can be used with the countable nouns. Let's see which are the words we can use with uncountable nouns. So the first one is the. When we are referring to something specific, right? So when we have an uncountable noun, so milk is an uncountable noun, right? We cannot count milk, but we can use the before milk if we are referring to something specific. Okay, give me the glass of milk, for example, or you can say give me the milk. So even though it is uncountable, but I'm using the before it because I am referring or I am being specific here that I want the particular milk or the specific milk that is there in your hand. Okay, I want the milk which is there in your hand. So I don't want a milk that is in the refrigerator, for example, but I want the same milk which is in your hand, right? So I want the milk would be an example of the where we are referring to something specific. Then we have words like much, a little, any, how much, lot of, lots of, this, a large amount of, plenty of, etc. For example, much time. I don't have much time left with me. Even though we cannot count time, we can use the word much to show that I don't have much time. Maybe I have to reach airport and I don't have much time to reach. A little practice in English grammar can make your concepts perfect. For example, so it says that you have to do a little practice. Practice cannot be counted, but we can add a little before that. Anytime. Liquid. Liquid is countable or uncountable? Yes, liquid is an uncountable noun. We cannot count liquid, but we can use the word this before liquid to refer or to show a particular liquid. Enough money. I have enough money to reach my home. Plenty of energy. Again, energy is uncountable. We cannot count it, but we can use the word plenty of energy. This boy has plenty of energy. Now let's look at some words which can be used both with countable and uncountable nouns. We used the before also. We learned about it, that how can it be used with countable and uncountable noun, right? So we learned that the can be used with countable noun. For example, this is the table that I brought from the market. So here table is countable. I can count the number of table, but I can use the before the table to refer to the table which is there in front of me. I can use the word the. So the table which I brought from the market. In the same way, we have the, which can be used in uncountable noun, where we can say the liquid, the milk, for example. Give me the milk that is in your hand. So even with uncountable nouns which we cannot count, we can use the word the. Some. For example, we can say I ate some cake. So cake is countable, right? We can count cake, how many cakes, but we can use some before a countable noun. Some can be used with an uncountable noun also, like sometime. Give me some money, or give me some time to do this work. Plenty of can also be used with an uncountable noun. For example, plenty of energy. Energy is an uncountable noun. So we can use plenty of before an uncountable noun. So these are the words which we can use with both countable and uncountable nouns. Let's look at how much versus how many. So a lot of times we have this doubt of when to use how much or how many. Let's look at these examples and understand. Now, both how many and how much have the same basic meaning, that is, in great quantity or in a large number. However, when we use them in particular sentences, there is distinction or there is difference. Many is used for a countable noun which are in the plural form. So with countable nouns we use many. And for uncountable nouns we use much, and it is used in a singular form. Many refers to a large number of. Right, we know that countable nouns can be counted. They are called count nouns because we can count them. So many refers to a large number of. So number refers to something which we can count. Much refers to a large amount of. Right? Amount itself is not countable. Right? So we use much to refer to a large amount of. Both of them are adjectives. Let's look at an example to understand it. Many. There are many cars parked on the street. Car is a countable noun. Cars is the plural form of car. So with car, the countable noun, we use many. Many people are there in the party. So with countable nouns, you have to remember that we use many, or we use how many. How many cars do you have? How many people are there in the room? So for countable nouns, many. For uncountable nouns, we use much. Water is an uncountable noun. We cannot count water. So we use much water. How much water do you want? How much water did you drink? Money. Money is also uncountable. We learned that, right? So we if we want to ask someone, we ask, how much money do you want? How much money do you have? So much shows quantity, right? So even many also shows the number of. So both more or less have the same meaning. They both show some quantity or a number. So that is the difference between much or many. And with countable nouns, we use many in the plural form, and in uncountable nouns, we use much in the singular. Learn about countable nouns. Countable nouns are things that we can count. They are also known as count nouns. They can be in the singular and plural form. For example, table, tables, car, cars. Then we learned about uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are things we cannot count. Uncountable nouns are also known as non-count nouns. They are always in the singular form. For example, money, milk, sugar, etc. Then we learn that some words can be used with countable nouns and some words can be used with uncountable nouns. The words which we can use with countable nouns are a and the, a bag, an egg. We use and with a vowel. For example, E is a vowel, so we use an egg, an apple, the table, etc. The other words that we can use with countable nouns are some, many, few, plenty, etc. Some flowers, many boys, few questions, etc. The words that can be used with uncountable nouns are the. If you're talking about something in specific, we use the. For example, the milk. The other words that can be used with uncountable nouns are lot of, plenty of, lots of, etc. Then we learned that some words can be used with both countable or uncountable nouns. They include some, plenty of, enough, etc. For example, I can say, I have some books with me. So, books are countable. So, I have some books. Or, I have some flowers. When we talk about uncountable nouns, we can say, I had some water. And last we learned how many versus how much. So with countable nouns we use how many, which are in the plural form. It refers to a large amount of. For example, chair is a countable noun. In the plural form we write chairs or tables. So we can say how many tables or how many chairs do you have. How much is used for uncountable noun in the singular form. It refers to a large amount of. For example, how much water or how much money you have. Let's look at some questions. Write a or an wherever necessary in these sentences. So you have to look at the sentence and you have to say whether they need a or an, and there are some sentences where we don't need to write a or an. So we can put a cross there. Tea and coffee are popular drinks. So do you think we need a or an with it? No, because tea and coffee are uncountable. So we can just write tea and coffee are popular drinks. Dash tomato is a dash fruit, not dash vegetable. That's right. A tomato is a fruit, not a vegetable. Now tomato, fruit and vegetable, they are all countable nouns. So we can put a. Dash chair is dash piece of furniture. So we can write a chair is a piece of furniture. So we have furniture, which is an uncountable noun, but we are putting the word piece of furniture before the word furniture, right? So a chair is a piece of furniture. Dash grass is always greener on the other side of dash fence. So here we use the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Let's look at the second question. Fill in with how many or how much. First one, dash birds are there in the tree. Birds is a countable noun, so we would use how many birds are there in the tree. Dash soup do you want? Soup is a countable or uncountable noun. Yes, soup is an uncountable noun. So, how much soup do you want? Next one, dash water do you usually drink? Can you guess the answer? Water is an uncountable noun. So how much water do you usually drink? Dash players are there in your team. Can you count the number of players? Yes, we can count the number of players. So how many players are there in your team? Now I have a worksheet for you to do. I'm also putting the link in the description box. So if you look at the video, you will find a link under the video in the description box. So you can download the worksheet from there and you can complete. Thank you students for watching the video. I hope the concept of countable and uncountable noun is clear to all of you. Keep practicing, and if you have any doubt, note it down and we would clear that later. So keep practicing and see you again tomorrow at the same time.